Hello! Welcome back to Movie Theater Explorer. This is Brent, your dedicated movie theater explorer here. And today I'm just going to talk about briefly some of the movies that I've recently saw in theaters and in a home theater as well. So, um, got a few. The first one I'm just going to go through is I went to go see Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning again. This was my fourth time seeing it all together. It's been a few months since I last saw it, and I wanted to see it because it's still playing in theaters, and I thought, why not? If you guys recall, a few months ago, I saw it twice in IMAX and one time in Cinemark XD. And so this time I just went to a regular movie theater, and regardless, it was still great to experience in a movie theater, especially when it came to those two big action sequences, the one in the submarine underwater, and the one on the plane. Um, if you guys have seen it, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then you have something to look forward to when you watch it. But yeah, so I got to experience it once again that way, and it was definitely still incredible to experience in a theater, and just the sound and the picture and everything, just still great. Obviously, um, the premium screens, IMAX, are the top ways to go, but still, just experiencing the movie theater still way I would recommend still seeing it that way if it's still playing in a theater near you, and you still want to check it out. I still recommend it that way. So yeah, that's just briefly touching on that one. Um, Another one I want to touch on is Jaws. They re-released it in a bunch of movie theaters for its 50th anniversary in the last week of August, and so I decided to go check it out in IMAX, and it was actually a great, incredible experience. It was just obviously the picture being massive and very immersive, and the sound was just great. Like, I was able to pick up some certain ambient sounds that I had not heard before. One example, like, I didn't know, like, there was, like, I think it was, like, hopefully I don't butcher it, but it sounded like there was some kind of radio frequency of some sort right as the Universal logo was coming up, and I had never noticed that before. So again, it's just a very subtle sound, and it was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, and then just obviously just experiencing the um, the score by John Williams in a movie theater like that was incredible. Um, Obviously, John Williams is a genius in my opinion. I think a lot of people probably would agree with that, but yeah. So that was a great experience, and I'm very glad I got to check it out that way. And actually, one I do want to touch on, I don't when I is I got to I picked up the X Files Fight the Future. That's the first X Files movie. I picked it up on Blu-ray recently. I'd never seen it before, and just from what I've been hearing about it, sounded very interesting, and I decided to give it a check out. So um, I picked up a copy. I think it was yeah. I just picked up a copy on Blu-ray, and and yeah, it obviously I experienced it in my home theater. So I think if I've described this before, I'll just re-break it down again because I'm going through a couple of these. Um, I have a modest home theater, which is a 55-inch 4K TV with a 7.2, actually more 7.1 because I don't have the second subwoofer plugged in. 7.1 Dolby Atmos setup. So it's mainly 5.1 with two upfiring speakers, and it's very modest, but it gets the good feel of the sound. And then I have one that's feels more like a dedicated home theater. We have a projector, though it's in HD, and then the sound is again the setup another 7.1, 5.1, um, with I have two speakers above me that I put in the ceiling. So and in the front speakers are it's definitely more intense. So I would say a much more I'm going to call it more dedicated home theater. Um, Again, I know there's ones that are probably more flashier, way more um, calibrated and everything like that, and this one's like it's not cheap, but just trying to think how the best way to describe it. I'll probably have to go through the equipment one of these days just to kind of give you a breakthrough of what I used to help build out my home theater system. So, but regardless, it's I'm going to call it the okay. I'm calling the obviously the 4K TV one, the 55-inch one, modest because it is very small, very. But my my more dedicated home theater. We'll just call it that way. That's just how I refer to it. Anyway, so I experienced the X Files in my dedicated home theater. So and it sounded great. Like the sounds were really good. I mean, it's a DTS HD 5.1 audio mix, and so and I think this one was released back in the late 2000s on Blu-ray. So obviously some like audio mixing and all that's gotten a little bit better over time. And so it may not be the best ever, but honestly, it got the job done. It was very immersive and definitely some really cool stuff. Like some of the cool stuff I really liked was within the final act. Um, it just involves the Arctic. I'll just say it that way. And just the set design for a lot of that stuff was really cool. And so, and just experiencing that in a home theater was great. So, um, so yeah. Um, so yeah, no, and that's definitely one. I definitely do recommend checking that one out if you haven't seen it yet. Hopefully one of these days they put it on 4K, but even if not, um, just just experiencing in a home theater is great. So hopefully you get a chance to see it if you haven't seen it, regardless. Um, Another one I experienced again in a home theater, but this one is my more modest home theater. Again, modest home theater, 4K 55-inch TV with a very simple but well decent 7.1 Dolby Atmos audio mix. But of course, it's the movie's High Noon, so it's I've been trying to check out some more older movies, and and so this is one I picked up on 4K from Kino Lorber. It was on sale, so I decided, hey, you know what, I want to check it out. I I heard some really good stuff about it, and so I checked it out. It's a very good movie. It takes place within a more within its time frame. So it's basically the movie's about an hour and a half and takes place basically within that hour and a half period. And it's about this I think how am I describing it? So there's a sheriff that's just gotten married. He's ready to take off, and one of the people that he put away is coming back into town, and he feels he needs to stay behind. And there's a lot of morality and things like that, and who would help him and all that. It it was actually way more engaging than I thought it would be, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, wow, like I wasn't expecting. I wasn't sure what to expect out of it, but it was definitely a very solid movie. It's definitely a very good movie, and definitely one I do recommend, especially if you're looking for either an older western or just looking for more classic movies to check out. Anyway, so I watched it in 4K or experienced it in 4K, and the 4K image was actually quite good. The like the detail was great, and it's in black and white, so there's no colors that are popping out, but the details as far as the black and white is concerned is really great. So I was very impressed with the quality of the picture, and it's just a mono picture, I think, or a mono audio track. So it's more like I think it's a DTS HD 2.0 audio mix. So it's more just in the front, nothing really kicked to the backs or anything like that. So nothing too flashy, just something very basic, but it sounded great. So it was a very well calibrated presentation, and obviously worked well enough. Again, it's one of those I recommend checking out if you're looking for those type of movies. Another one will go again. This is one I also experienced in my modest home theater. This is how I described it on my Facebook page. So basically, the movie is Lost in Space. I picked up the 4K Ultra HD from Arrow Video recently. It just came out, and there's a sale going on at Barnes and Noble. So I was just like, hey, I want to go pick it up. So, and this is, I actually did experience this movie when I was 12 years old in a movie theater. And it was definitely a really fun movie to see in theaters and just a very fun movie. I was definitely, and still am, but really big into science fiction. I really wanted to see more science fiction movies on the big screen. And so, and this is one of those we got to see, and I really much enjoyed it. I watched it quite a few times on VHS, and this was one of the first DVDs I ever got when I was starting to collect DVDs, and and again, this was like I think the DVD was released in 1998 when they were starting to put these out. So the extra it has a few decent extras on there. I've checked them out and they're good. Um, but yeah, still pretty basic, but it's still cool to add to my collection when I was growing up. And so picking this up on 4K Ultra HD, I wanted to re-experience this. It's been a while. I never picked up the Blu-ray, so I can't compare how the 4K is over the Blu-ray. But I can just tell you that again, I experienced this in my modest home theater. So again, 55-inch 4K TV, um, and then very standard, simple Dolby Atmos setup. It's four book. I'm gonna just more details. Each of the front speakers and the back speakers are the same type of bookshelf speakers. There's a center speaker, and then there's two up-firing speakers and a subwoofer. And so basically, that's what my setup is, and and it's very modest, obviously. So, but it shows at least what the potential is, and yeah, and just to be honest, the 4K image was great. Like I was actually really impressed by how it looked. Like the colors looked great, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. The This movie was made in the late '90s. This is when they were starting to use more CGI a little bit, and a lot of the CGI looks really dated today. Actually, I don't think it really looked. I mean, hey, I was a kid. I don't think I really cared if it looked bad or good at the time. But obviously, over the years, I know, like, oh, yeah, that's variously, obviously, not too great CGI. And yeah, the CGI, the really dated CGI really stands out. But, um, but there's some prop work and some of the details on that looked actually really impressive. I was very impressed with the image and the sound was great. Again, it's a DTS HD 5.1, um, so it's not a Dolby Atmos. They didn't remix it, and but honestly, for the purpose of it, I think it worked great, and it still sounded very impressive. And I think there might have been some moments where it upmixed and um, kicked in some of the upfiring speakers a little bit, but regardless, it was still a cool experience. Just again, having the back sounds and everything going all over, and just hear, hearing all like the ambient sounds to the ships flying through and everything, and it was great. So I think this is a really solid um, home theater experience. And again, if you like the movie, I recommend picking it up from the Arrow Video, um, the Arrow Video 4K Ultra HD um, one. So yeah, again, it just came out. I think the sale for Barnes and Noble's further 50% off, so you can get it for $24.99 for at least till the I think till the for another week at least. I think till I think the 14th is the last day of September. Anyway, so that's another one. I saw a couple more movies in theaters, and one of them I saw was Sharing Aloha, and that was actually I got to see it in a I got to see it in a regular movie theater. It's basically about the Polynesian Cultural Center. I believe it's yeah, the Polynesian Cultural Center. It is over at BYU Hawaii, and so just learning about that was actually cool. And just I mean how they put on their show, and just the dedication to all that, and just everyone hearing people's experiences being at the college, and just how inspiring it is, and how positive it is, and everything. So I really liked it, and And so, again, if you want a positive documentary that just uplifts you, I do recommend checking this one out um, if you can find it. Another one I saw, again, I have a local theater that's playing the Lord of the Rings trilogy over a month period, and I went with a group of friends to go see Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, and that was a great to experience that one in a movie theater again. Again, the Lord of the Rings movies are great to experience in a movie theater. If you ever have it playing in your local movie theater, I strongly encourage going to experience it that way. The one I saw it was remastered in 4K, and I noticed a detail that wasn't there in the older prints, which you could see the Minas Tirith in one of the shots when they're approaching. Oh man, Ascleith, I think is what it's called. So yeah, the one town near Gondor when they're approaching Gondor, and you can see like they're trying to help um, get to the forefront to help to stop the orcs from attacking and all that. That's when Faramir brings Frodo and Sam. I apologize if I'm ruining any spoilers in case you haven't seen it, but but yeah, if you haven't seen it, I just stop it and experience watch all three of the movies, and then you can come back here and pick up where I'm at. But regardless, when they're going to that forefront of Gondor, I think it was Ascleith is the name of the town that they're trying to protect. You can see Minas Tirith in the background, and again, this was not featured in the older prints of the Two Towers. The first time we ever saw Minas Tirith, well, actually, you kind of see it a little bit in the Fellowship of the Ring, just like from a quick image, but you get the full experience of it in the Return of the King, which is awesome. But still, seeing in the background there, put in there, was actually really cool. But regardless, the 4K image looked great, and I think that I want to say the theater I was in, it was not a premium theater, but it looked like it had to be a 4K image of some sort because it looked actually quite good. And but the sound was in Dolby Atmos, and that sounded incredible. And again, keep in mind the the sound was already incredible even without these new modifications. So, but experience in Dolby Atmos enhances the movie even that further. So again, if you have any of the Lord of the Rings movies playing near you, just go and see it. It is still worth experiencing in theaters, and especially if you have not experienced it in a movie theater before. Then yeah, go totally find one nearby. Um, okay, and then so those are some of the ones I've recently seen in theaters, and I thought I watched another one recently, but I can't remember. Okay, yep. So, but those are the ones I'm going to go over for today. And okay, the question I'm going to go through is, let's say you build out a home theater. You want to build out a home theater, and you build up a really nice one, and you're looking for a few picks to experience that way. I'm just going to give you a few. I was going to do it as like my top three, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's really hard because it's hard to narrow down. So I'm just going to give you a few. One of the ones I definitely do recommend, and especially if you're going to get like a 4K Ultra HD player, this movie's not in 4K yet. I think, I mean, hopefully they put it out one of these days, but the one that but you can get it on Blu-ray, and it's Gravity. And the one you want to get is there's a copy of Gravity that has Dolby Atmos attached to it. And I am strongly encouraged to use that to test out your home theater, especially if you're putting in Dolby Atmos, because it takes full great use of that. It's honestly it was definitely an incredible home theater experience. So that would be one of my top ones for sure. Some of the other ones that I would actually recommend, no brainer, Top Gun Maverick. Any of the Christopher Nolan ones would be great. Um, let's see. I'm going to be going through more ones that I've experienced myself. I experienced Edge of Tomorrow with the I have to be honest on this one. I used the 4K disc, um, again in my dedicated home theater, which again is it's a really good Dolby Atmos setup, with the 5.1 with the two overhead speakers, and it sounded amazing. And the picture obviously in HD, so the 4K image wasn't, the details weren't standing out that way, but regardless, it was still a great experience. Let's see, what are some other ones? Another one I actually do recommend, if you can get the 4K of Apollo 13. Um, that's another great one to experience in a home theater. It's got a DTS X track, and that one sounds great. Um, so yeah, those are just a few that I'm gonna give you right now. But yeah, just look for ones that obviously, if you're looking for one that you like that really made a difference for you when experiencing a movie theater, as opposed to just watching on a TV at home, and you want to experience more in a good solid home theater, then yeah, look for those ones for sure. Those are the ones to look out for sure. But again, one of my top ones is definitely Gravity, and there's a few others. Apollo 13, Top Gun Maverick, Edge of Tomorrow, Jurassic Park is really great. Um, so yeah, just a few, and I'll try to share more over time. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing that. But yeah, I think I'll end that today as is for now. And I just want to thank you again for tuning in and spending some time listening to me talk about some of the movies that I've experienced in a theater or in a home theater and all that. And yeah, I'll try to go into a more detailed breakdown in the future on some of the equipment for my home theater so you can kind of get a more idea of the scope of what I use. So, anyway, thank you very much for joining, and you have a great rest of your day. And this is Brent, your dedicated movie theater explorer, and go out there and explore a great movie in a movie theater. Thank you. Bye.